Uh, very good afternoon. Just a quick clarification. Is my audio and video clear?
Yes.
Okay, thank you very much. Okay.
No problem.
So, very good afternoon to all of you. Just a minute. Participants are coming. I'm not able to automate that process. Okay. Very good afternoon. Welcome to TB Rajashekar 18th Memorial Lecture 2023. This year's lecture, the title of this year's lecture is The Changing Role of Librarians in Higher Education. The lecture will be delivered by Mr. Raja Visvanathan, who is working as a Scientist C at the INFLIBNET Center, Gandhinagar, Gujarat. The lecture will be chaired by Professor M. Krishnamurthy. He is the Associate Professor and Head at the Document Research and Training Center, ISI Bangalore Chapter. Before I hand over the session to Dr. Krishnamurthy, I would like to briefly tell you about Rajashekar, and I'm sure Rajashekar doesn't require an introduction, but in case if any of you have doesn't know much about Rajashekar, I would just like to give a glimpse of his contribution. Dr. Rajashekar has did his BLIS and associateship from DRTC, and after completing his associateship, he worked at few places at the National Informatics Center, New Delhi, and British Library again in New Delhi. And he joined National Center for Science, erstwhile National Center for Science Information in 1983 as a scientific officer. So while he was working at the National Center for Science Information, he also completed his PhD from Pune University. So he quickly rose to the position of principal research scientist, and he also held the position of associate chairman at the National Center for Science Information. Okay, so the present generation of professionals may not be aware about the National Center for Science Information. The NCSI came into existence in 1983. Basically to provide information support service to researchers working in various Indian universities. In those days, access to information, a lot of noise coming, I better mute everybody.
Sir, you can proceed, sir.
Okay. Okay, so NCSI was predominantly providing electronic information services to research community in the country. Basically, it was subscribing to bibliographic databases in electronic format, and it was providing selective dissemination of information to the researchers working in various Indian universities. At the peak, we had close to about 20,000 users availing our services, and we were providing selective dissemination of information service in various fields, including physics, computer science, engineering, medical science, biological science, chemical science, math sci, GRF. Okay. So the service was very popular. As I said, there were close to 20 to 25,000 researchers from various universities across the country were making use of the service. Okay. And NCSI was also carrying out a very sought after training program called Information and Knowledge Management. Initially, the training program used to be a one-year program. Later on, it was upgraded and renamed as Information and Knowledge Management, 18 months Information and Knowledge Management program. So many of the professionals who are holding very high position in various organizations across the country have all had the opportunity of being going through that course conducted by the National Center for Science Information. Okay. Just yeah, giving you the glimpse of the contribution of late Dr. Rajashekar while he was at the National Center for Science Information. I have to attend to the lobby.
Sir, I will approve, sir. You please continue, sir.
Okay, you're doing that. Okay, fine. I didn't know that you have the control. Okay. Okay. So, as I said, the selective dissemination of information that was being provided from NCSI, all the software required for providing the SDI service was developed in-house. At that point in time, NCSI was one of the very few centers or the very few centers in the world which was providing SDI service, electronic SDI service based on the software developed in-house. And another important thing that Rajashekar was instrumental in setting up was the email-based discussion forum. This was actually started as a funding project from erstwhile NISAT, and the discussion forum was established in 1994. Probably it was one of the first of its kind in the entire country itself, and surely it was the first of its kind in the profession of library information science. So today it continues to be a popular discussion forum, and we have close to 6,000 subscribers. And those of you who are not part of the forum, have given a link there, can just follow that link and become a subscriber to the forum. So a lot of useful discussion happens, useful notifications happens on the discussion forum. So it's particularly useful for budding professionals. And Dr. Rajashekar, under his able guidance and leadership, developed many of the services that NCSI was proud of. And NCSI was one of the earliest to develop a database-driven portal or a website. Now today, a database-driven website is very common, especially because of the content management systems that are available today. But back then, almost 30 years ago, the concept of database-driven portal was a rarity. So NCSI was one of the earliest to have developed a database-driven portal, and it was called as a SciGate. It was aimed at providing a gateway service for scientists and researchers, not only in IISc but for the entire country as well. So another important gateway service that was developed, which was led by Dr. Rajashekar, was the Electronic Journals Information System Gateway. Now, today we are all aware about JGate. Now, JGate is based on the concept of EJIS, which was developed by Rajashekar then. Okay. So we also set up the country's first interoperable institutional repository back in 2002. Those were the very early days of open access and open access institutional repositories. And when the concept and the idea was picking up, NCSI was quick to grab the opportunity and set up an institutional repository. Today, it's one of the fastest growing repositories in the country, holding more than 60,000 research publications of Indian Institute of Science. Under the able leadership and the guidance of late Dr. Rajashekar, NCSI also initiated a series of workshops. Now, those were the days in the mid-90s or so when internet was evolving. Okay, so NCSI took the opportunity and saw the importance of educating fellow professionals in the country. So NCSI conducted series of workshops in the series called Internet for Information Professionals, and conducted almost on a regular basis several workshops to educate the fellow professionals about the developments that were happening in the field of internet and related technology. So as I said, the training program, which was an important activity of the National Center for Science Information, which started as a one-year program. Later, it was upgraded to an 18-month program to be on par with the postgraduate program of the Institute, and it was named as the Information and Knowledge Management Training Program. So just giving a few screenshots taken from the Internet Archive. This is the homepage of Cygate, which is the database-driven portal of National Center for Science Information. And the NCSI website was one of the earliest on the campus itself. This was the screenshot. What you are seeing now is not the database driven, but this is the earliest website to have been developed. This was mostly based on static content. Okay. Now, what we see in the next screen, now this is what is the Cygate, which was a database driven portal. So where all the backend content was staying in a database, and we had a front-end interface which would interact with the database to retrieve the content. So it was a dynamic website. Now this is the eJournals gateway. So it was serving as a gateway for the open access content. So basically providing content page service for various journals. So Rajashekar also handled several projects, including consultancy projects and the sponsored projects supported by various funding organizations. And we organized several workshops, both national and international. So as I said, Internet for Information Professionals was a series of workshops that we conducted through the 90s and also in the early 2000s. Wherein a lot of professionals from the country were trained and informed about the developments that were happening. He was also an ardent proponent of open access. So he was on the committee of, he was on several committees, including CODATA, and he was a key member which established the INFLIBNET Center. And today, Mr. Raja, he's from INFLIBNET Center, and Rajashekar played a very important role in the establishment of INFLIBNET and also INDEST, which is now known as the Electronic Shod Sindhu Consortium. This lecture series we conduct in the month of June, predominantly to honor late Dr. Rajashekar, who passed away on the 5th of June 2005. So the lecture series we try to coincide to have it in the month of June, and the other seminar we conducted in the month of November, which is the birthday of Rajashekar. So so he was very close with the students of the NCSI who were part of the IKM program. And once during interaction, he said, one day we all end up in photo frames. So what matters in life is what we leave behind for others. So truly he has left behind a rich legacy, which we try to carry forward by conducting this few programs in his honor. And just a few words about NCSNet Foundation. Now, NCSNet Foundation just existed as an informal association, and in June 2013, we had it registered as a charitable trust. And the two activities that NCSNet Foundation has been carrying out since its inception is conducting the memorial lecture and memorial seminar in honor of late Dr. Rajashekar. Now, this is the homepage of NCSNet Foundation website. So all the lectures that have been delivered till date have been listed there, and there are close, as I said, this is the 18th lecture, and for some of the lectures we have the video recordings, and we also have the PPTs which have been included, and you may visit the net site and get to know about the various talks and seminars that the foundation has been organizing over the period of time. So what you see in the photograph is Professor N.V. Joshi, who was who was the chairman of STUEL NCSI, and she's Vasumati Sri Ganesh, who delivered one of the memorial lectures. Now, coming to today's lecture, will be delivered by Mr. Raja Visvanathan, who is working as a scientist C at the INFLIBNET Center, and the talk will be chaired by Dr. M. Krishnamurthy, who is a professor and head at the DRTC Center, ISI Bangalore. Okay. Now, Dr. Krishnamurthy will briefly introduce Mr. Raja, and before he does that, I would just like to say a few words about Krishnamurthy. Again, Krishnamurthy doesn't require an introduction. So he's a well-known and a senior professional. So he's been a professional, he's been a teacher. And just to very briefly introduce Dr. Krishnamurthy, he has a master's degree in MA and MLIS, and he has a PhD in library science. So he has a rich experience both as a professional. So he worked in various capacities as an assistant librarian, as a university librarian, and now presently he's working as a he's working as a associate professor, and he is also heading DRTC, one of the premier high schools in the country. So he also briefly worked as a professor at Mangalore University, and he has come back to DRTC, and presently he's working as an associate professor there. He has many fellowships and awards to his credit. I've just listed a few of them. So he's a Fulbright professional, and as a Fulbright fellow, he visited the University of Illinois at the university, and he's a recipient of Open Repository Grant from Australian Partnership for Sustainable Repository in 2008. He got a fellowship for ETD Scholarship Award in 2016 to attend the Paris Enclave, and he's been awarded the Indian Library Association C.D. Sharma Award in the year 2013. His specialization include application of ICT for information services, digital library, institutional repository, and his other professional activities also include he's a financial secretary for the Association of British Scholars in India. He's the secretary for SIS, a former secretary of Kala, and also the present president of the Karnataka State Library Association. So with this brief introduction, I thank you all the participants for joining today's talk and for your patience listening to my brief welcome and introduction. And I now request Professor Krishnamurthy to conduct the proceedings. Over to you, sir.
Thank you, Dr. Jayakant Francis, for your nice introduction about me, and also you wrote about the program today and explained the importance of this today's topic and the important personality, Dr. T.B. Rajashekar. I would like to give just one or two incidents where I met in DRTC in one of the conference. At the time I was a librarian in Indian Statistical Institute. Now Dr. T.B. Rajashekar gave a talk on excellent on Greenstone Digital Library, where I met him in the DRTC. And afterwards, in many occasions, I met him in various platforms. There are no words what he has contributed to the library and professional. Already our Jayakant Francis has explained. And I would like to invite all the participants today for this special talk, including the senior professionals like Arun, Satyanarayan, and Ekant and Manoj, many people are here. So I thank you once again for this opportunity to introduce Mr. Raja Viswanathan, who is going to give a talk today on the changing role of libraries in higher education. And all these days we are talking about this library and higher education, and that is how today is the hot topic. Raja Viswanathan is working as a scientist at INFLIBNET Center at Gandhinagar since September 2015. He is a physics graduate and pursued his master's in computer application. He has more than 13 years experience, academic and research experience in various institutes. And prior to joining at INFLIBNET Center, he has worked for the Indian Institute of Science, Bangalore, and the Indian School of Business, Hyderabad. At present, he is a part of the software research and development group at the center. He is working with various projects, which includes National Institutional Ranking Framework, where recently we saw the result of NIRF ranking throughout India, and INFED, the Indian Access Management Federation, ENBA, Study in India, National Testing Agency web portal, area, Atal Ranking Institution for Innovation Achievement, and PNMMT, etc. He was selected as a distinguished engineer by Research and Education Federation, Netherlands, and gave a presentation and visited Estonia, Europe in 2019. He has been invited with a full scholarship and attended many meetings of the Asia Pacific Advanced Networking Group, APAN, in New Zealand, South Korea, Malaysia, Singapore, and Nepal, respectively. And also his area expertise is cloud computing, ranking methodologies, remote campus access tools, server administration, institutional repositories. Apart from he is working in many areas. The first one is making the NIRF. Nowadays, it is a hot topic throughout the country, where institution getting the ranks and what is the criteria and all that thing. So we can make out how he is busy and how he is contributing to the field in his capacity. And he has delivered more than 100 invited talk lectures in various conferences and workshops. So CV, it goes like this. So I'm briefing this short with this short introduction. Now I will invite Mr. Raja Viswanathan to deliver lecture on changing role of libraries in higher education. Over to Mr. Raja Viswanathan.
Thank you, sir. Thanks a lot, sir, for giving this opportunity, and thank you, Krishnamurthy, sir, for introducing me. Yeah. Shall we proceed, sir? Can I share my presentation?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. Go ahead, sir.
Sir, is my screen is visible, everyone?
Yes, sir. It's visible.
It's full screen,
Yes,
right?
sir.
Yeah. But yeah, it's not full screen yet, I think.
Is it fine, sir, now?
Yes, sir. The screen is visible, but I'm not sure we are seeing the full screen or not. What about others? Can confirm?
Yeah, it is full screen for me.
Okay, fine.
Okay,
Then go ahead, sir.
Yeah, I can proceed now. And just about INFLIBNET, everybody aware, but let me say about just few seconds. It is Inter-University Center of University Grants Commission, which is started as a project under Inter-University of Astronaut and Astrophysics in 1991. And later it became an independent autonomous Inter-University Center of University Grants Commission, and it was acting as an individual body of University Grants Commission in 1996 onwards. Initial fund of INFLIBNET Center to interconnect the library all over India and to provide and promote scholarly communications activities in higher education institution. And that there are some other inter-university centers also is part of University Grants Commission and IUAC, Inter-University Acceleration Center, and Inter-University Center for Astronaut and Astrophysics, which is situated in Pune, and UGC DAE Consortium for Scientific Research, which is located in Indore, and Consortium for Education Communications, INFLIBNET, and International Center for Teacher Training and Education, which is located in Banaras. And NAC, you are all aware of that, it is aggregation body, which is part of University Grants Commission. And just when we are talking about higher education, there are two major body which is operated by Ministry of Education. One is Department of Higher Education and School Education. The higher education will have a two individual part. That is called the University Grants Commission, which is controlled for all arts and science disciplines. And another one body is AICT, All India Council for Technical Education. We comes under University Grants Commission. When you go to Department of Higher Education, you can see what are all the new initiatives, new schemes, which is promoted by Ministry of Education. There is a UT, Swayamprabha, National Institutional Ranking Framework, Atal Ranking of Institution for Innovation Achievement, and EPG Pathsala, Shodh Ganga, Edsot Sindhu, Shodh Gangotri. Almost 70 to 80% of the UGC schemes is being developed and executed by INFLIBNET Center. And okay, now we need to talk about librarian role. So we need to understand first higher education system. What is the current hot topic? Every institution wants to get good ranking and good accreditation from NAC and good ranking from endeavours. In terms of NAC, there are total 1,000 marks with various different category. You can go to this, which I have given the URL. After end of my presentation, I will be sharing this PPT in the group. You all can visit and you can verify the same data, which is there in the manual, NAC manual. In infrastructure and learning resources, library part alone will carry 20 marks weightage in all the discipline, even universities, autonomous colleges, affiliated, and UG and PG colleges. In this library activities, the majority of the marks will go for research and publication. Even the money, how much they are spending for entire per student, how much they are spending for library, and total number of publication, and total number of citation. Citation is the gray area which majority of the institutions or librarian may not aware, where the librarian pitch their role and they can give 100% help to boost up their accreditation and ranking in terms of NARF and NAC accreditation. And this formula and all, this is very basic formula. Here you can see 4.2.2 will carry 6 marks of weightage from the NAC accreditation. If the institution will apply for NAC, there are 5 categories: e-journals, e-books, e-source Sindhu, Shodh Ganga, and databases. Out of 5, any 4 institution is having subscription or membership with Shodh Ganga, e-source Sindhu, or they have subscription databases, e-journals, and providing e-remote campus accesses, they will get some weightage. Here, Shodh Ganga, in case of university, by default, it is free. In case of individual institution, you always climb because your affiliating university is by default part of Shodh Ganga. And e-source Sindhu, even you are part of arts and science colleges. e-source Sindhu is a combination of 3 different consortium, which was operated individually by 3 different nodal agencies. That UGC INFONET and Enlist Consortium and AICT Indest Consortium. In 2016, the Ministry of Education decided they have merged all together. They have named as a e-source in the consortium. In case of Arts and Science College, you can be a member if you have a 2F certificate. you need to pay something 5,900 rupees as an additional like operational cost, but you will get more than 6 crore worth of e-resources and more than 20 databases and so many other resources also you will get it. Sir, we are comes under private. We don't have 12B2F certificate. Then what we can do? Even if you do not have, you need to pay 35,000 plus additional taxes for becoming a member of Enlist in case of Arts and Science College. In terms of private universities, you are not eligible to be a part of ESO Sindhu because UGC INFLIBNET is specifically meant for government universities. Even though as an university librarian, you instead of going for individual negotiation with the different publishers, we do have a negotiated price which is uploaded in the in ESOS in the website. You need to register as an associate membership, and after membership verification, then you can see what is the negotiated rate with the different publisher for different package of journal. The same you can apply for when you are going for subscription with the different publishers. In terms of e-journal, that by default you need to have it. And how the way they will calculate per data usage of library by teachers. Earlier used to have a manual record. Nowadays everything it is there in online. In online also there are different statistics portal to maintain separately. There is a InfiStats and INFED, Indian Access Management Federation. If you are being part of this member of this particular product, we do provide the statistics like how many users per day from which particular location they are accessing your e-resources. If you have a subscription, if you have some subscription with the different databases. So these are all the part as a NAC. You can improve, you can boost up your NAC accreditation weightage in terms of NAC accreditation process. Here, when we are coming back to NIRF, National Institutional Ranking Framework, there are 500 marks will be given for different category, which is I am part of this NIRF National Institutional Ranking Framework. I do take care of verification and then tech support and the communication and all other process cloud and administration. In this 500 marks is divided into 5 different category. Teaching, learning, resources will carry 0.3 weightage out of 100. You mean 30 marks out of 100 will be taken care by teaching, learning, resources. Like how many number of students are there in the campus and the actual approved by the UGC or AICTE and actual intake, how much they are getting and whether they are maintaining 1:20 or 1:15 ratio, like student faculty ratio, teacher faculty ratio, and how much they are spending for resources like library and operational expenditures per student wise we are calculating and we are giving some weightage. The second weightage is the gray area and Vakna that institution can get very good weightage if they are following only through librarian. The librarian has to be very much aware how the way this marks is being distributed. That is why I have given separate table for this one. This research professional practice, there are different weightage for different places. Like for overall, it is 30% weightage given to the RPC section, research and professional practice. In terms of Arts and Science College, 0.15, 15 marks will be given. But overall, we need to think about the combined metric of quality of publication. 35 marks will be carried out by quality of publication. How a quality of publication can be measured? Only number of citation. There is no other way. Only number of citation, and whether it is before that we are going to verify with only Scopus and Web of Science. The particular publication supposed to be indexed in Scopus and Web of Science index journal, and you will collect the data directly from third party. You don't want to have a subscription, sir. When we wanted to check, we do not have subscription, which is not required. It's a third party verification for both the parties, even for NIRF as well as NAC. You don't want to submit. For NIRF and NAC also, we do help both the agency to verify your data. We will provide them, then they will verify with your institution. As per institution INFLIBNET, these are the data received from Scopus and Web of Science. Are you sure this is the correct data or not? Only thing you need to verify it. So here, this is the overall different 5 parameters, how the way the ranking is being provided for the institution. If you want any doubt, whatever which is there in the manual, you are not understanding anything, I can explain at the end of the session. And this strategy may help, like, for example, your institution, as I said, this 35 marks, your institution having 1,000 publications, your institute spending crores of money to give the research grant and promoting faculty to write a paper. They are giving sometimes award, gold coin, so many institutions are providing. After publication, there are 35 marks. Out of 70 marks, 35 marks for number of publications, 1,000 publications you have got. What about another 35 marks? Who is going to do the work for it? It is a librarian. You need to take care of it. You don't want to spend money for getting 35 marks. You need to spend crores of money. Another 35 marks, it is in the librarian hand. I will tell you how you are going to do that. That your institution did so much of wonderful research work, got 1,000 or 2,000 publication per year, per faculty 15-20 publication they are putting. Then some institution which per faculty maximum 5 or 6 they will have a publication. They will also carry equal amount of marks, which prominent institution like top institution, whatever they are getting mark, the small institution also will secure same mark by following this strategy. For example, I'm a researcher. I have completed my research. The moment I complete my research, I will submit my paper, which is called preprint or first version from the author version. Then journal review, peer review committee people will review your paper, and then they will come back to the researcher. These are also modifications you must have to do. And by considering the input from the peer review committee, the researcher will rewrite the paper and he will submit final version of the paper. So every paper before publication, there are 2 versions. First version from the author side, minimum, bare minimum, and then corrected version, the final version from the author side, preprint and postprint. Now, article got accepted by the publisher. Then ownership of the article will be fully handed over to the publisher. As an author, even your institution will not have a subscription until will not have an access until unless your institution will have a subscription for the particular journal. Then it will go for the live domain by publisher website. If I have done my research in robotica, one of the peer which is sitting in my same institution wants to download from publisher site, they are not able to do because my institution should have a subscription. Do you think any librarian or any researcher will pay per paper $35, $40 to download our paper to read? No, it is very limited because the moment the researcher will go, as a hypothesis I'm saying, will go to the Google, they will type, in the institution will have a subscription. If it is a closed access journal, the access will be provided to the particular researcher, they will download. Otherwise, they will try to download when it is asking for payment, and they will try to get it from other sources, which their parent institution or some friends working from different institution they will ask. Otherwise, wherever they will get a free with some good quality journal, those particular paper they will download and then they will read. When then further research, they will cite that particular paper. Now, the same publisher is saying that if you have institutional repository, if you have a commercial, non-commercial repository, you are entitled to put up your preprint first version of the author as well as the last version of the author in your repository. So in case, sir, ours is very small institution, we don't have not beyond 50 publication. Should I need to have a repository, which is really not required, but right now it is a 50 publications. But in future it may expand, and it institutional repository will work as an asset of your institution after 5 years or 10 years down the line. You don't want to go whenever any NAC accreditation process or ranking, or in future your principal or head of the institution or correspondent would like to know which particular department is performing in terms of research in good way. If you have institutional repositories, subject wise you can export, and department wise you can export, author wise, and which particular article is getting more download, those things and all you can be tracked using the institutional repository. And you will have a doubt again, sir, which particular software is good for institutional repository, whether it is ePrints or DSpace or which one. Sir, I'll tell you. We need to have an output. DSpace and it will have more functionality than ePrints, but ePrints is very much user friendly because I used to set up more than 15 places when I was in Hyderabad. And after coming back here also we are giving recommendation and we do conduct a training program, and we give them hands-on training to set up the repository of DSpace as well as ePrints. It is up to you which one is you are more comfortable with. You can go for the repository. And now, whether I can put up all my published version in the repository, or can I put only accepted version or submitted version? Again, you need to check the publisher open access policy. That particular website, there are some Sherpa Romeo websites. Sir, sometimes these are all the content you must be aware already. But how much this is playing very crucial role in terms of ranking and aggregation, as Sir said, Krishnamurthy Sir said, rightly said. It's a hot topic for India is NARF ranking. NARF ranking 30% of weightage will go for research and publication. In that research and publication, that 30 will be again divided into 4 parts. That almost 50% of weightage will go for citations. Citation is there only in the hand of librarian. It is my personal opinion. Sir, if I have a repository, whether I can get 100,000 citation per paper? No. It doesn't mean that you will have a repository, you will get more citation. It is an opportunity for every person without paying any cost from their packet, without paying any money from their packet, they are able to read your paper. The moment they have a chance to read your paper, then only is a citation that they will have a cite. They wanted to cite or not. First, they need to have a chance to read your paper. That chance we need to make it each and every paper. For example, last 3 years, there are 100 publication is being published from your institution. You need to make a policy first, because whenever you are going to upload all the paper, the researcher, the faculty will dead against, because either they may not aware about the fully open access policy of each and every individual publisher. When they go for publication, they need to sign an agreement before publication. The publisher will not, normally they will not give very clarity information about whether they can put it in the repository or not. They will say, please refer point number 4.3.2, or when you are going for 4.0, please refer through 3.3. They will always put you in circle. So they will get afraid, because some good top tier journal, without due to ignorance of the institution or the librarian or the researcher, they keep it in somewhere researcher ID or some other research guide or some other places they've kept in their open publication open. Then next time when they go for publication, that particular journal, they will say, no, you violated the policy, we will not accept your paper. So that is the reason researcher will get afraid. You need to educate the researcher first. There are different ways, version of publication that I'm going to explain in coming slides. If we are following any one of these things, we need to follow the publish and open access policy. We can keep it the repository. And as I said, as I have seen in India, they have kept every 90% of the publication from top institution. They put up in the repository, but it is all in the closed access, because either they have not collected their preprint or postprint from the researcher, or they are afraid. We should not keep it open. But as a repository, if you want to get good ranking, good accreditation, good research weightage for your institution, you need to make it open as much as possible without violating publisher open access policy. So once you kept the repository, you uploaded all your preprint and postprint, even in terms of 17 type of default document you can upload, like your images and your article, book chapter, and conference and proceedings, and everything you can do that. So here, once you have uploaded, somebody will surf in internet. The first or 2-3 result will go to the original publisher URL, and then 5th or 6th result will come back to the repository. The moment they will get it free, obviously, they will get it download, then they will have a chance to read. Even still, if you are a smart librarian, if you are really smart, before publication, you need to do fit to print, because as a researcher, I used to have a habit of reading published version. Published version will have a very neat and clean. They will add, they will do 2 column per page. They will add their logo, and they will assign the number, and it's look like very elegant to read. So you need to educate the faculty and researcher. please, before you know that this paper is going to accept. So don't submit as it is in your handwriting or in different format. You just give them one kind of training classes to them. So that, for example, once you submitted the paper, you cannot modify again. Whatever you have submitted, the final version, the same has to be uploaded. Otherwise, again, it is an open access violation policy. The postprint is published in open access journal. Sir, whether it is closed access journal also, we can keep it. Yes, you can keep the postprint or preprint from respective journal. Sometime some publisher will restrict. You should not keep it the moment get published. You need to we need to hold for 6 months, 1 year or 2 years. But after 2 years, you can keep it open. That embargo period they will assign. After 2 year or 1 year embargo period, you need to keep it open. So postprint is published in open access journal or in toll access journal and self-archived in institutional repository. You are keeping in your repository. So more people will have a chance to read. So next research cycle begin. So for example, the research impact, the quality of research can be assessed based upon the citations only. For example, you have 1,000 publications, each publication will got 2. Your H index is 2. No, one person will have written only 5 papers. Each paper got 500 citation. So obviously, the research quality of research can be assessed based upon the number of citation only. So really, it will create a good research impact, measures the size of the researcher contribution for the research, generates further research funding for your institution, and contributes the research productivity in financial support and research institution, and advances in the researcher career, promote the research progress. So as a librarian, if you want to set up, sir, already we have a setup, but but faculty is not allowing to keep it open. That's what you need to make it as a policy. You need to convince the management first, sir. We are getting very low marks in this particular area, research and publication. In the publication, quality of publication, we are getting low. You have very good number of publication, but the quality of publication you got very less mark. So that can be improved by we need to separate a policy. Each and every publication, the moment article get published, that researcher or faculty has to submit their accepted version as well as submitted version to the library. It is very difficult, I'm saying. It is very difficult to achieve, but the original fruitful result output will go to only researcher. The institution will hold as long as that particular researcher is there, but the researcher will carry their publication, carry their citation for their whole long life. So we need to make them understand. First, you just giving them training. If they are not listening, make the policy through head of the institution. So the objective of open access is to maximize the research impact by maximizing the research. Obviously, limited access will always give limited impact. That limited impact will affect your ranking and accreditation process. So as I said, people will again confuse, that faculty will confuse. Should I need to publish my journal in open access journal? No, they can publish restricted journal, which is paid journal, because 90% of the Scopus and Web of Science indexed journals are paid version only. There are different type of publication. When you go for gold open access, publisher makes an article fully accessible on the journal website under a Creative Commons license. The article processing cost usually paid by the author. For example, I wanted to publish my paper, one of the top tier journal, Robotica journal. I don't want that particular publisher to keep it closed access. That is a closed access journal, but particular individual my paper I wanted to make it open. So they will ask article processing cost per paper. It is 5 lakhs, 6 lakhs rupees. Whether are you ready to pay? Yes. So once they paid the money, they will keep it open for whole life, even it is a closed line. But for setting up the institutional repository, it's a very meager amount. You need to spend something around 50,000 per year. You need to spend. You can have a cloud hosting, 40,000, 50,000, 4 GB RAM, 500 GB or 200 GB hard disk is sufficient to serve around 3,000 publication in a repository, because 200 GB of data hard disk can serve minimum 2,000 publications, 1 MB maximum one article. Even to reduce the size before uploading, you need to reduce the file size and then you can upload. The hybrid is another one kind of subscription of journal, where the publisher allows author to make individual article open access, differs from a gold open access journal, because a library is still paying a subscription to the journal. The entire library is paying. So if I have already subscription, that individual journal author also has to pay, but they will have some kind of hybrid connection among the institution and as well as the individual author from same institution. And diamond and platinum, that is philanthropy or philanthropists or some institution will fund for that particular paper. Individual author do not want to pay. And bronze and green, these are all the separate, different publication policy when author about to go for any publication with the different publishers. Sir, where should I check? There is a SEPA Romeo website. This, sir, again, I'm saying this is not new, but earlier people are aware. But how much it is impacting the ranking accreditation process, that's what I'm teaching now today. And welcome to Sherpa Romeo. There is one website, Sherpa Romeo, which is funded by UK consortium, and any publisher you are having doubt, because whenever you go for publication, it will have more than 10 or 15 pages of agreement, which is very, you will get more confused. But they will collect which is related to only open access. Just you need to put up type the individual's journal name, then they will give what is the publisher open access policy. Whether published version you can keep it, no, only journal website will have a right to keep it. And accepted version, yes, author homepage they can keep it. Accepted version part B after 6 months of embargo period. You can look at here. Over publishing any paper from Robotica journal after 6 months of embargo period, they can keep it in their institutional repository. The institutional repository will take much time because we don't have expertise. We don't have separate funding support for that one. There are many non-commercial repositories there, like Archive, and I'm going to put up in the end of my slide. You can look at. You don't want to do anything, just to create an account. You need to make sure they are not going to make any profit. It's supposed to be non-commercial repository. And this is when we set up in 2014 in RAIT, Research Archive of Indian Institute of Technology, Hyderabad. They secured in engineering category 11th rank this year, 11th or 10th this year. And even they are newly established IIT. See, from that particular IIT repository, there are 4 lakh downloads. Even though there are 40% of the full text access, they have uploaded 100% paper, but only 40% is being enabled due to fear, or they have followed some kind of publisher open access policy. In the 10,394 item being downloaded 4 lakh time, it means that each and every article on an average 40 times got downloaded. Yes, these are the strategy as a librarian you must have to follow. This is the main higher education services you can provide to your institution. And apart from that, INFLIBNET Center, we do have a different department. Each and every department we are taking care of. We are executing different project. The prominent project you must be aware: Shodh Gangotri, and ESOTs in the consortium, and EPG Pathshala, Indian ranking, NARF, Atal ranking, and Study in India National Ranking, National Testing Agency, and many central websites we do take care, and the Indian Access Management Federation. Sir, we have a repository, we have a 1 or 2 publisher, but when you go for NAC, they will ask whether are you providing remote campus access? You will say obviously no, because the remote campus access software is costing you too much. But you want to set up a repository? Yes, sir. Pakka, I'm going to set up the repository. The same repository, we can deploy Indian Access Management Federation. It is Shibboleth based open access software. Even you have only IEEE access. When you go for accreditation, they will ask you whether you are providing off-campus access. You will say no. But you have a repository. The same repository system, we can set up this Shibboleth software for remote access purpose. That we will help you out to implement, and there is no charge. We are not collecting any money for Indian Access Management Federation for providing remote access services. Even top institutions from like IISc Bangalore, IIT Madras, IIT Delhi, IIT Guwahati, IIT Palakkad, NIT Trichy, IIT Hyderabad, everybody is providing remote campus access of their resources using INFED, Indian Access Management Federation. And as I said, individual statistics, your institution must be aware if you are from centrally technical institution. Sir, we are not part of INFED, or we are not part of ESOS into consortium. Whether are you able to do that? Yes, I hope you are able to do. You can contact. However, you can contact me. I will help you out whether you are able to join this INFLIBNET. You have a subscription of American Chemical Society, individual one publisher. In that particular publisher, whether your institute for member researcher, whether they are downloading or not, you may not aware, because obviously the download statistics is being provided by the publisher. You may have your institution firewall, you are able to do that proxy software, but however, the exact number can be given by the publisher. They are giving one plugin called a Sushi plugin. That Sushi plugin, you don't want to add manually whenever any accreditation purpose, they will ask you how many number of people I have used, how much you have downloaded, and those things they will ask. You don't want to do that manually, you can directly download from INFLIBNET and submit it. As I said, Indian Access Management Federation, it's a single sign-on software. We are providing e-remote campus access for unlimited user. There is no limited restriction. There is no restriction, it's unlimited. And n number of people can log in and use your services if you have subscribed. Again, people get confusion. Sir, shall I get whatever subscribed by INFLIBNET? No, only whatever your institution have subscription. Those resources can be availed when you are away from the campus. And apart from that, you must be aware National Institute of Health, NIH. NIH, they have given their valuable data only for the purpose of research and education. Research and education purpose, NIH opened their repository through Indian Access Management Federation. You wanted to access their repository, National Institute of Health US repository. If you are being part of INFED Federation, through this federation, the same user ID password which you are using for the purpose of accessing your e-journal, the same can be used to download NIH repository that we have already integrated. And Shodhganga, everybody aware, but as a librarian, you can start as a Shodhganga as a services to the institution, your institution. You can go see, you can look at here. We have given individual subject wise, engineering, chemistry, and physics related program 24,000 and education 22,000. Shodhganga as a service you can start for your institution. You can take all the, you can download the metadata and you can send a newsletter or this particular subject category, this many article, this many thesis have been uploaded for this current last 3 months or 6 months. This kind of services also you can offer to your institution researchers. And Source Suddhi, you must be aware, it's a part of, it's a byproduct of Shodhganga, who are having member subscription, they will have an access of Source Suddhi. Shodh Chakra, I believe most of the universities are subscribing, getting a membership with Shodh Chakra. It's a complete tracking mechanism of their PhD research, since the researcher enrollment and their knowledge resources, then what are the literature work they are doing and what are the resources they need kind of when they are preparing for their PhD coursework, all kind of subject guidance, everything they can include. It is already integrated with the EPG Pathshala. So that any particular topic they have searched, they are getting searched, it will be redirected to ePathshala. From there, we are pulling out from the resources like good online videos by top eminent professors from various IITs, IAC faculty and all given the lecture. Those things can be seen. And guide will have a separate portal login dashboard and supervisor will have a separate dashboard, and the university IQAC department or research department will have a separate user ID password. So all three together they can combine, and we have given the new product. It's a byproduct, it's a brainchild of INFLIBNET, Shodh Chakra, and it's also free. There is no money is involved. In case, sir, we are from education colleges, whether we are eligible. In case if you have a research center, then you are able to do that. And academic identity and IRANS, you must be aware about RCID participation in the map. Like India is having RCID membership. Some other country, the researcher for entire country, they will create. They have taken the mission to create each and every person as an individual RCID ID. As a librarian, you can do that. You whenever in case not for all the employee, all the faculty will not, researcher will not have RCID ID. So it is your responsibility. You need to ensure whether they have been part of RCID or not. You can create for them. You can make one more division for creating RCID ID. So it is really free. I'm saying it is free. They can create on their own. However, you can give this kind of services also to improve your higher education services. How it will be improved? Let me say you. See this, we have IRINS, Indian Research Information Networking System, and Vidwan Expert Database. With this particular databases is being incorporated with Scopus, Scopus, Web of Science, Archive, Crossref, Google Scholar, Base, and Smart Citation, Dimension, Altmetric. This Archive, whenever any faculty publishing any paper, by Archive is by default ingesting the data from different publisher. The moment this particular Archive ingest from the publisher side, our IRNS system automatically pulled from Archive ID. That is the reason you must, every researcher must have to have Archive ID. And you must be aware, some small institution or which you do not have yet this IRNS system, you can do that. There are two difference between Vidwan and IRNS system. Vidwan for entire India. For example, somebody wants to, you want to know who is the cloud computing expert all over India, just to go to Vidwan website, just to find out, just type cloud computing and give a research search button. It will pull out all the person. But no, sir. As an head of the institution wants to know which particular faculty publishing more paper from the particular institution, so that they can encourage the particular faculty, as well as they can give more funding support. It doesn't mean that they want to dilute the research progress, but they can identify who is doing more progress, which particular department is where they are very much strong. And for example, as a student, I want to do research. It doesn't mean that all top institution will have a excellence in all the particular department. Some IIT will have a expertise in civil engineering. Other IIT will have a chemical engineering. I'm a chemical engineer. I want to do chemical engineering. So I want to know, not because of top rank, I should not join. Which particular institute is top in the particular subject area. So those things can be accommodated by following this IRNS system. And profile, whenever the individual faculty would like to go for funding support or applying for some scholarship, some consultancy project, this is a single place, single window, they will get everything. Sir, no, sir, we would like to have IRNS as well as our own system, because IRNS is the platform as a service. There is another one software is called Vivo. Sir, I want to do some kind of innovation services. I want to explore myself. You can download Vivo also and explore. This both are more or less similar, but IRNS will have much more functionality than Vivo, because it's a Vivo is open source. IRNS is our inbuilt system. We developed on our own. And we do have many analytics, like how much is the co-author network and per year progress, and what is the H index, what is the total number of citation, everything we do have analytics, and we have given in the portal itself. And at present, IRNS will have a 784 instances installation, and you can see in the map. And more than 1,24,445 faculty members have been joined with the Vidwan and as well as IRNS system. More than 22.50 lakhs publication already indexed, and 190 lakh citation we have taken from Crossref and Web of Science and Scopus. And there is some Eurocris, and there are some Pure is a software which is promoted by Elsevier. You need to spend something around 24 lakhs per year. There's almost same functionality. You will get it through IRINS. Through this, we have saved more than 110 crore for entire higher education institutions in India. This project is funded by Ministry of Higher Education, so there is no money involved. Any institution can join. But there is some pre-qualification criteria that you must have minimum 50 researchers, so that it will look good. I don't know, you need to contact the respective Kannan, Dr. Kannan, for further details. And sir, I want to do some special services to my institute, whether I can start any new work, new product. Sir, I'll tell you, always you need to fulfill all the existing criteria, which will really help for your institution ranking and accreditation. Then these are all additional services. where user really get benefit. There is a Subject Plus, it's a free open source tool that help your interrelated parts of your library website. Yes, because it's already a protocol based software. You can install this Subject Plus software. It is also open source, and you can create number of users, and then you can add resources. Add resources doesn't mean that you can download your paper and you can do that. For example, I'm a computer science student. One particular course I'm doing as a network security. The network security, I will have a 5 units. Each and every 5 units will have a different 10 subtopics. Each and every topic will have a different book for the purpose of reference given by the university, the curriculum administrator they have given. So those entire thing, instead of student going to search in different places, the moment I log in, these are the 5 subjects I'm going to study for this particular semester. And each and every particular subject will have 5 different units. These are all the reference material, and the entire link you can give. You don't, the user as a student don't want to go here and there to collect all the material. One way it will make them lazy, but really the good student do not want to waste, good researcher do not want to waste their time by collecting the resources, because it is once you have collected, it will be lifelong benefit to the institution as well as the researcher. In India, I have seen something 4 or 5 member by institutions only they set up the Subject Plus. IIT Gandhinagar, Ahmedabad, I think Madan from OP Jindal, I think they set up. Very limited institution they have set up. If you want to do something innovation, you please try for it. If you have already set up, no problem. Please you go and register with the Subject Plus website. As I said at initial stage, sir, we do not have funding support. We do not have skill set to maintain the repository server. Like we don't have network connectivity. What should I do? This is called some of the commercial, non-commercial institutional repository, non-commercial repository. It's an internet archive. You can upload. Before that, you need to ensure. Sometimes some publisher will restrict only institutional repository. They will not allow to upload your paper into even non-commercial repository also. So this internet archive is one of the best open access repository. It has more than 330 billions of pages, 20 millions of books and texts, and 4.5 millions of audio recordings, and many different collections they have. You can use this software until you have set up your own repository. Sir, we have only limited publications, only 20 publications per year, sir. What should I do? Because of that reason, we are getting very low weightage in terms of research in NARF as well as this one. Yes. See, some institution, they will focus only publication. They have 200, for example. You have only 20. But really, it is a gray area that they can get equal amount of marks from the citation. You can still fight. Yes. This 20 paper, I'm going to ensure without paying any additional cost from the researcher packet, I need to deliver this submitted version, accepted version to all the researcher. One way, sir, I'll tell you. The ultimate aim is to research should be open for everyone. If we say open, then people will come back. No, we cannot be done. Sir, you will get citation, then obviously there will be some kind of impact. So please try to convince your management and researcher and get it done. And this is another one open source repository, open access repository, core, which harvest the world, including the institutional repositories such as open access repository, hybrid journal publishers, and it contains more than 18 crore 85 lakhs 43,000 already open access articles which is available. They have collected more than 10,049 data providers all around the world. This also you can recommend your user so that instead of going from Google, they can directly come here. They can verify whether particular paper is available or not. And you must be aware, Base is a Billfield academic search engine. Sorry, I have set up the repository, but still my repository, I have uploaded the article. I'm not getting into Google when I'm searching. The moment you set up the repository, you have to register Base and Google Scholar and 2-3 other repository, Yahoo, AOL, all kind of search engine you have to register. Since it is a OAI PMH compliance, Open Access Initiative Protocol for Metadata Harvesting. The DSpace, ePrints, Greenstone, all developed based upon those technology. It's mean this different search engine will have a direct communication if you register with them, because whenever you upload today 10 articles, they will have some kind of time frame every 2 days once or 5 days once or 10 days once. They will automatically come to your repository. They will ingest all your data. They will go when somebody is searching from Google. So this Google will take it from different search engine. They will pull out the information. They will store into the local database. They will display the result in top. Even if it is not there on top also, you keep in the register your repository from registry of open access journal, ROR and base and Yahoo, AOL, all the places you need to register. So again, I'm saying I have seen many institutions wants to have a good ranking. They set up the repository, but they have not opened it public. So it's again, there is no use. If you want to have a repository for the purpose of only collecting your material, it will not give me any weightage. You need to make it open. Before that, you need to be ensured it should not have any copyright violation. You should not fall under that particular trap. And this is online library for publication platform, which enable the books. If somebody wants to have a book, this particular repository they can recommend. And this is only specifically specifically meant for open science and services scores. This also you can recommend to your faculty and research community. Yes, thank you. That's it. If you have any doubt, we can go for questions, sir. I can answer.
Okay, thank you, Raja Visvanathan. Now, house is open for the discussion or any questions. You can raise your hand.
Sir, for example, if you want one question came, what is the role of IRNS in NARF ranking? Yes, this I will tell you. Before that, advantages of NARF rank to particular institution and also a researcher of that particular institution. Sir, if you want to apply for some kind of UGC funding or some other scheme, they will ask you whether your institution is top 100, top 200, whether but only those particular band only they are giving weightage for the purpose of accepting your application. So in slowly, the Ministry of Education can assess the institution based upon the ranking. They are giving more and more funding support and more benefit they are giving. That UGC website also you can go and see. Whenever you go for example, your institute is now autonomous college. They wanted to apply for university, deemed university. Then to become a deemed university, NARF ranking also one of the benchmark. Yes, NARF, there are 5 different benchmark is there: teaching, learning, research, and research and public professional practice, and graduation outcome based upon the number of student placement and what is their higher education ratio, and public perception, outreach, and inclusivity. For example, your institute is really good. You are having you are operating from some remote area. You got good ranking. Obviously, different from different state, from different country, people also would like to visit because of your quality education. That is called outreach and inclusivity. Sir, DSpace just followed by 2433. There are some ports, sir. How to integrate base with our DSpace? No, sir. You have to enter after installation of your DSpace. You will have a URL. That URL you need to enable open OAPMH port. That particular port you need to go and enter into the base portal. You can see that base registration of repository. I can send you the guide, sir. I have everything. I can send you. Sir, how do INFLIBNET calculate perception in NARF ranking? No, we calculate means that every year that good eminent faculty from top institution, top company, we were sending peer perception as well as employer perception, and they will vote directly. INFLIBNET will not do that. Different eminent faculty professor will vote on themselves. And the qualifying criteria that I am not aware that in NARF head office is doing, that NBA is doing. Why NARF is not considering ICI? Name citation index, sir. Good question, but as I'm part of NARF, I cannot answer. You can write a mail to helpdesk@narfindia.org. Pakka they will respond. For colleges, sir, I think for the purpose of university and especially for the member of ESO Sindhu, for other purpose, you can always send a mail. Then I can request my team whether it is eligible for them or not. Yes. How do INFLIBNET calculate perception ranking? Is there any benchmark in NARF? If 5 benchmark already there, what is the advantage that I have answered? What is the role of IRNS in NARF ranking? At the time of entering your faculty, you can verify, and this NARF will have a second part, the number of publication you need to ensure. If you do not have Scopus or Web of Science database, then this IRNS will collect all the publication about your faculty. It will bring and you can export so that the number of publication is matching or not. Any small institution can check even you do not have a Scopus or Web of Science database. Any other questions, sir?
Raja, I have a question.
Sir.
You said, yeah, first of all, let me congratulate for giving an excellent talk. It was a very useful talk, very useful information has been provided during the course of the talk. My question is, during the course of your lecture, you said if you have institutional repository, you can set up single sign-on. How is that?
No, sir. This now you have symbol. Sometimes some institutions do not have infrastructure. Sir, we cannot afford to have one more system for remote campus access purpose.
Okay.
So that you have already ePrint server, the same server we set up the repository on INFLIBNET system also. Okay. One single place. So that when they are going for accreditation purpose,
yes,
without spending much additional cost,
okay,
they can claim both the benefit.
So it's more like a multitasking onto the same system. That's all.
Same system, sir. Multiple applications. Already we have explored. It is working.
Okay.
Okay, Professor Asundi sir. Professor Asundi sir, if you have any question, you can ask.
Yeah, not a question, but a kind of a what you can say apprehension. It was a wonderful lecture, and INFLIBNET has expanded very much. But unfortunately, I know that Mr. Ravi is not able to very clearly answer this particular question. Most of the universities are now totally having no staff at all. And on the other hand, INFLIBNET is expanding so many services. Is it not a kind of a lopsided approach? How INFLIBNET can help in at least filling up some of the key positions in the university libraries? Otherwise, all your services will be in the cold storage and nobody will be able to implement them in the universities. Because as you know, in Karnataka University, there are no staff. In Bangalore University, there are no staff. In Mangalore University, absolutely no staff. So how one can all these good projects which are actually a lot of money is being spent on this and a lot of resources are being built. That is one of my concern. I know Mr. Ravi is not able to, cannot answer this particular.
That manpower really I cannot answer, but most of our services are platform as a service.
Other hand, through the implement to the government of India and I understand that in India only a peon is looking after a library, university library.
I understand, sir. That's what, sir. For example, most of our software
is my concern. That's all.
Platform as a service, sir, which you don't want to do anything. You need to provide your faculty information only. For example, IRINS and so Chakra, we develop the software. In fact, we are giving 100% assistance. Institution, if they have server, they need to give only server access. They don't want to do anything. We are giving 100% assistance. And almost now 190 institutions are using this INFLIBNET services, Indian Access Management Services. And we do provide 100% assistance. So that manpower, I understand manpower concern, but We need to look at in some other way, sir. It's supposed to be automatic one. All our products supposed to be automatic one. Then we can solve this issue.
Sir, to answer Asundi sir's concern, now INFLIBNET is also planning one nation, one subscription where half of the library job is done from their side only.
Exactly.
So librarians will not have any job at all,
No,
as far as subscriptions are
No, sir.
concerned. Whether it is advantageous to library or disadvantageous to library, we don't know.
No, sir, that is what librarian have to move now, sir, in this direction. Now you can give remote access, free remote access services, subject guide services.
I think Dr. Krishnamurthy is here. Dr. Krishnamurthy. I don't know whether without the staff, any of these projects can be successfully and effectively implemented. This is my concern, because any project that comes to us regarding libraries, there should be some qualified library professionals who can just implement effectively, and there is some kind of a media intermediary should be there. That is what.
It depends on the libraries, infrastructure, and library professional mindset is very important. Say for Raja, he has done a wonderful what he has explained, you know, all that right, Infosys, Infed, all that things he has done with a team of group of team. So like that, librarians also has to work. See, library work is not an individual or a solo. It's a kind of a teamwork. Okay, then only you can reach the goal.
Hello.
Yes, sir. Any questions, please?
Yes. Am I audible?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, please. May I know who is that? Srikant.
Yes. This is Srikant from
Srikant
Hyper Guwahati. Yes.
Yeah,
So
please.
I have one query. As sir told, in fact, so is it only for ESS member in
No,
fact
sir,
service?
it's open for everyone, sir. It's free.
So that means those institutions which is not coming under ESS, just like in Hyper, I am working in Hyper, so we can also request for this, no?
Yes, sir. Sir, everybody, sir, even parichay.inflinet.ac.in, you can see even private colleges is also eligible.
Okay. Thank you, sir.
So Satyanarayana wants
Sir,
to
I'll
ask
tell you,
the
sir,
question.
One more thing. When you are going for remote access of INFED, sir, INFED is not a new concept. It's almost 20-year-old concept. Unfortunately, we have implemented in the year 2016-17. When we initially apply for, when we approach for the publisher as an federation member, they are not willing to do. When you purchase one shirt from market, that fellow is saying you need to wear only within your home. What we will do? We will say, "Arey yaar, we purchase, we need to use wherever we are." The same way, they are not providing resources access for your IP addresses. They need to serve for your researcher. Irrespective, they cannot restrict our researcher to be in the campus to give access. They need to ensure whether you are from whether particular institute, IISc Bangalore or not. They cannot ask you, you need to be in the campus and do research. Am I right? No, sir.
Yes, sir.
And already some particular small databases, that's a database cost itself 50,000 rupees. For that particular database availing remote access, we need to spend lakhs of money. Whenever you are going for any publisher subscription, you need to ensure, are you providing single sign-on access or not? Free remote access services. If they are not accepting, you need to cite. If you are not providing how IEEE is giving, if you are not providing how Science Direct is giving, Web of Science is giving, Taylor and Francis, Science, Scopus, Springer, everybody is giving. Why not you? You need to ask this question. If they say, no, sir, we don't have skill set, you ask them to contact us. We will also assist them.
Okay, thank you, sir.
NV Satyanarayana want to ask question. In case, raise the.
Congratulations, Raja. You made a very good presentation.
Sir, thank you, sir.
Yeah. You talked about the IRs. You began with IRs. IRs were initially started as repositories for preprints. But over a period of time, they have a lot more internal content of institutions than preprints. In fact, preprint flow has been lot less compared to non-preprint flow of literature. That's one part. The second part is the national repositories and subject repositories have been gaining a lot of traction and momentum. And author seems to be more proactive in depositing their national repositories like archive, bioarchive, medarchive, and whatnot, than putting in their own local institution repositories. This is the second part. So in effect today, the dependence for aggregators is more from, they depend more on this national and subject repositories. The third part is with open access gaining momentum, Europe is already more than 80% immediate open access, particularly because it is driven by planners. It's going to be 100% open access in less than 3 years now. I think the trend is unlikely, is going to be same in the rest of the world. So which means when it comes to journal literature as such, everything is going to be 100%. Now, in this scenario, once everything becomes open access in the journal domain, what will be the value of IRs in libraries for repositing only the preprints? They can still serve the purpose of managing the local content other than preprints. As far as preprints are concerned, are they not likely to lose the value?
Exactly,
That's
sir.
one question. And
Yeah,
second is you also mentioned about, that's one question. Second, you also talked about several services which benefit users when libraries implement in their organizations. And these are all direct delivery services. There is very little local implementation. And those are gaining momentum. You talked about Arcade, you talked about base and a lot of other things. Now, with the services, whether it is literature related or technology related, are increasingly coming from external sources to the libraries. The talk of your title is on role of libraries in higher education. When the services that users require are extensively made available by multiple external agencies, which includes INFLIBNET, because INFLIBNET today is making available lots of services. IRN is a great service. In this scenario, as someone just prompted now, is there going to be any role for librarians at all?
Yes.
For which one IRNS product, sir?
When I'm talking in general,
Sir, no, sir,
virtually
that's what.
today every service is available, right? And many of them, like Core you mentioned, is a free service, right? Now, there are a few services like even there used to be LibGuide, which is a fee-based. Now, Subject Plus is available, free service. And somebody else will help them in even installing in the cloud. Now, today, and particularly because of the cloud, one DSpace installation can serve the entire country, which somebody can manage, right? So the role will be largely limited to buying available tools and technology services, and users just tell the users it's available, use it. And most users are also familiar with it. So what I'm trying to say here is, with increasing consolidation of various services from the external sources, both from the publishing sources, sources like INFLIBNET and others, and a lot of services coming and getting consolidated for delivery on cloud. The institution themselves need to have very little content or technology resources. And with this, isn't the role of librarians as a larger community going to shrink? Maybe just one or two librarians for an institution could be more than enough.
But they can start research support services, sir, so that obviously the institution weightage or ranking, the accreditation will be assessed more on research support, research output, so they can help researcher by providing good resources or how to use this particular tool and all. Sir, I understand the layoff, you are talking about layoff. Am I right, no, sir?
Yeah, research support to an extent, yes, but that is still a nebulous area. A lot of research support is self-supported, and it's other than a little bit in the information literacy area. Even that also people resist, and most of the time, like in their own areas, users think that they can do it themselves because the IT literacy is so high, particularly with the current generation. They require very little support to use tools.
Okay, so librarian now have to switch from non-normal providing these kind of services to some innovation, other things, sir. So,
To add Satya's viewpoints, what we are witnessing is dependency on text-based literature is coming down, because the end users, they are quite efficient to retrieve whatever they want from the electronic resources or aggregators or whatever content providers are there. I think libraries has to be repositioned now. In higher education institutions, or especially in R&D institutions like us, they are looking at different category of services from libraries. Like in olden days, we were good at documenting whatever content we are producing. Of course, Satya pointed out that repositories will be mainly focusing on the non-preprint content, the gray literature, what we call. Archiving that and exposing that content to the external world will also be an important role for libraries. Especially now, a lot of data repositories are also coming up, where they're helping us to expose our gray literature content. And a lot of this multimedia based content also libraries should focus. Like libraries should evolve as a learning center or experience centers kind of a thing.
Okay. So there is one last question from Professor Kaiser Nikam from Mysore. For the last 10 minutes, he is waiting. Yes, sir. Madam,
Hello.
please go ahead. Yeah, please go ahead.
Mr. Raja, congratulations for the nice and crisp presentation.
thank you.
I have two questions. One is to Satyanarayan. That is, what is the scenario abroad about the role of libraries in higher education? How are the librarians working? Second one is, in the subject plus service, you mentioned a feature, create research. Can you just throw light on that? How does it work? My questions are clear?
Is it question for Raja or question for NV Satyanarayan?
Second one is for Raja. The first one is for Satyanarayan.
No, you can ask for Raja only. Afterwards, you can talk to NV at any time. Okay.
Anyway, anybody can answer, no
Rajas.
problem. But
Over
anyway,
to
these
Raja.
are the two issues I want to clarify. One is how are the libraries functioning abroad? Because we are giving a very, dim, it is a very morose picture of our libraries. And therefore, second thing is that the service feature that you mentioned, create research guides in subject plus. I just want to know a little more about it.
Actually, madam, whether you have set up the subject plus, madam, I would like to answer for second one.
No, I'm not working in a library.
Okay.
I don't know anything about it.
As I said earlier, as a student, as a researcher, I want to know all of my research material and the reference material will be in the single place. Once you need to set up, first you need to download this open source software and you need to set up the server, madam. After installation, there will be two parts, user part and administration part. Administration part will be taken care by the library team, and they need to create a user. If they have already user database maintained by the IT, they can interconnect using the single user ID password. LDAP authentication, they can do that. After that, they need to create a first course, and who are all the faculty going to take the charge, and what are all the reference number of units which is available. Each and every unit, what are all the subtopics, and each and every topic will have a some resources. For example, your institute, your university already have a subscription related to some cloud computing. That particular cloud computing reference link also you have already subscribed, so you can give the link so that whenever students are going to download the particular paper, and then they can click the link, that since it is already subscribed, and it will have easy access to the users. And then this entire research guide again, that student will have, they form their own curriculum based upon their research area. You can find out the proper resources, what are all the things, source material you need to do that, and you can upload everything. It's like kind of very simple, madam, but it will have very crispy. Student
The
do not want.
title is quite misleading, I feel. Creating research guide. That referencing services are many. No, you have so many other sources.
No, research guide. Exactly, I'm not aware. I will note down your number, madam. I will email you, madam.
No problem. No problem. It's okay.
Okay.
Okay. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you, friends,
Yes.
for the nice interaction with. Now I can request Jaikant Francis to conduct next one-day workshop or seminar with the help of Raja. So many questions can be asked or clarification. With this, now what in sum up, I conclude in that Raja has covered many things about NIRF and the 5 criteria: teaching, learning and resource, research, professional practice, graduate outcome, and other models like gold, hybrid, diamond, and the bronze, green, and Sarbio, and Sherpa and Romeo, and all that things he has covered, and beautiful inputs he gave, including right, INP stats, INFED, IRNS, ORCAD, Internet Archives, and core, base. All these things are very important in the present day in higher education. The iconographic influence of any academic library express a purpose not just to accumulate, but also to organize, preserve, and make knowledge accessible and disseminate. Today, on the campus of virtually every higher education institution, the library occupies a vital position. In its placement and prominence, the academic library conveys its integral role in supporting higher education, core mission of research and education. And yet, for all their success in accommodating and even powering recent transformation in higher education, libraries and the librarians who lead them now find themselves asking a series of fundamental questions: to what extent and in what ways are academic libraries likely to transform, and what roles will librarians come to have in the shifting information environment? Will technology encourage a recasting how academics produce and disseminate knowledge? At the outset, the 21st century, these institutions deal with the need to reconceive and reconstruct by the means by which they support teaching and learning community in research and education. The function of libraries can now be understood as one component of rapidly evolving, almost wholly transformed environment in which information is proliferating at year to forefront unimagined rates, and in which ability to academic libraries to deliver authenticated and reliable information is continuously challenged by the new technologies. This is how I can conclude my sum up. Over to Dr. Jaikant Francis.
Sorry, my audio was muted. Can I request Shivram to propose vote of thanks? Shivram?
Yes, sir.
Sir?
So on behalf of NCSI Net Foundation, I thank today's speaker, Sri Raja, for his wonderful and very informative talk. Thank you very much, Raja, for making yourself available for this talk and giving away this talk. Thank you very much. And I thank today's chair, Professor Krishnamurthy, for chairing this session. Though he was busy with his schedule, so he kindly accepted our invitation and chaired this session. Thank you very much, sir. On behalf of my foundation and all audience, I extend my sincere thanks to you. And I thank all audience who joined virtually for this talk. Especially many gave their viewpoints, many asked their questions and made this talk more interactive. And my special thanks to Satyanarayana, who gave his viewpoints and made this talk more interesting and more interactive. Thank you very much. And once again, I thank all of you. And we will be holding one-day seminar in the month of November to celebrate Dr. T.B. Rajashekar birth anniversary. So, so kindly join for that one-day seminar and make that seminar also very successful. And I thank staff team of JID Tata and IASC for providing the platform for this virtual event. And thank you all for making this memorial lecture very successful one.
Thank you.
So thank you once again from me to Raja and Krishnamurthy. So it was a very useful talk, and many people have asked for PPTs, and we are trying to. Raja will anyway share the PPT with us, and we will put it up on the NCSI Net website. So thank you very much, and have a great weekend ahead.
Thank you, sir. Thanks a lot.
Thank you. So I'm stopping the recording and stopping the platform as well.